Good morning, guys. Today is March 14, 2017, and we're looking for some of the gappers today that have potential. With the catalyst, low float, our regular criteria. So the first one we have is RLJE. Now RLJE has a float of 3.18 million. It had an earning result and a subscriber milestone. So it is farming a U-shape pattern on the daily here. As you guys can see, got up all the way to 3, came back down, and now it's popping up, and now there's catalyst. So it's gapping up, there's a catalyst above its moving averages. There's some resistance right at 3, the whole dollar mark, which is strong resistance, but the break of that could potentially open up room up to the 350s, 360s. So there is potential in that stock. So that's why we're watching this. In the past, it had made some major moves like this day here. It went from 195 all the way up to 363. So definitely a low floater can move, and especially with this U-shape forming, could potentially have a good day on this stock here today. So that's what we're watching on this stock right out of the gates. This is one of my watches, with the catalyst, low float, good pattern that I think could potentially work. So we're watching this right out of the gates. The next one we have is BIOC, BIOC. Now BIOC has, we've traded this couple times in the past. It's been green for me for both days, on this day as well, and then sold this on this day. So now there is some resistance in the 275 area. Right now, currently it's at 222. So there is room to run. The pre-market high though is 243. So what we're looking for right now, it's kind of consolidating below this 233. So what I want to see is maybe a potential break of 233 at the open, and that's where I would look to open a starter position. So maybe I'll buy 100 shares. And then I'll look to add on the break of 243, and then maybe a break of 250. So that's what I would like to do on this. Start with a small position on the break of 233, because if it breaks that, since it's consolidation right below that, if it breaks 233, it could potentially test back this 243 level, and if it breaks that, we could potentially see a run back up to 250. Again, a break of 250 is a whole half dollar break, and then the next target would be the 275 area. So does have potential, can potentially run, not too high on RSI, but the only thing with this stock is it doesn't really hold its gains. Sometimes it'll run and then it'll just kind of fade off, so it has to be quick, it has to be in and out, and can't really hold it for long on this one. The next one we got is OCRX. So OCRX, it has a float of 115.53 million, and it's had a collaboration press release today. So they are collaborating with some other company, I messed up, sorry. Well, that was BIOC. So BIOC does have a press release out. It has a float of 12.54 million. And the press release is basically a collaboration with another company. Again, potential break of 243 could lead to a potential break of 250, and then break of that could lead it all the way back up to 275. So that's what we're watching on that. Now, the next one we got is OCRX. Now, that one has a float of 15.53 million. So, it's still not too bad. It's still a good float, what we're looking for this is it had a earnings out about 4 days ago. So these days, it ran really. This one had a 49 million volume, this one had 30 million volume, and then the volume decreased, went to 12 million and then 4 million. So now what we're watching for this is we're watching for a break of 151 on this. If we get a break of 151 on this, guys, we could potentially, that would be the a bounce play. So first daily candle to make a new high, especially with low volume, it went down, and if we can get some volume back into the stock, we could potentially see it run back up, maybe to the 170s, potentially 2. It could potentially run back up to the 190s here. So definitely has potential on this stock, definitely watching it, it could be a good daily setup on this. The next one we have is RXII. Now RXII has a float of 5.55 million, so low float, good, something we like to see, but it doesn't have any press release. On the RSI, it is a bit high towards the 60, towards the 70 area, so a bit overbought. But what I like about it is that the stock has been below the $1 mark for about, back since December 16. It's been below this $1 mark. It tried coming up here, but it couldn't make it. The high was, I believe, 99. Yeah, the 99. And then now it's kind of curling back up. So a potential break of one, the 200 moving average is not till 160. So a potential break of one could bring in some volume into this stock. I know there's some traders who like to trade this kind of momentum, like a break of $1 mark. That's like one of their patterns they like to trade. So that usually does bring in some momentum, because they jump in and other traders jump in, and their students jump in, and it does bring in some momentum. So definitely watching this for the break of that. So those are my plays for today. There's about 7 minutes left to the market open. So we'll be watching it, seeing what's happening, and we'll come back once the markets are open, and then we'll see if there's something in play, or if any of these stocks, set up to do what I expected them to do. So see you guys in a bit. All right, guys. So I had a little mistake here right off the bat here. I jumped in at 275 on. Sorry, I need to turn this down here. I jumped in at 275 for the break of 280 because there's volume was coming in. So I jumped in at 275, and that was definitely a bit high, higher than obviously I should have. And look at the spread on this right now. The spread came close, and that's when I jumped in. The spread, was I think it was 273 to 274 or something, and then it went to 275, and that's where I jumped in, because I felt like there's volume coming in. This can easily break 280 and potentially run up to what you would call 3. So that was my goal on that. Getting over 275 for a potential run up to 280, but it didn't break 280, and it got pushed down, so I just decided to get out. I got out at 265, so lost about $20 or $24 there with the fees and stuff. So maybe it was prematurely, maybe I should have waited to see if it would break 280 before jumping in. But I just once I saw volume coming in, I just felt like it has potential. It definitely popped up right out of the gates here, so that's what I was waiting for on this. But no luck there, and that's fine. So we'll see what happens here. So we'll just be watching it, seeing what happens here. Okay, guys, I just got into NVLS. It started ripping. It's the only stock that's ripping right now. So I got in for a potential. There you go. We're making newer highs. We're looking for a break of 350 here. I got in at 326. Let me just bring this here. So I got in at 326. We're looking for the break of 350. There's some volume coming in. And what we want to see is it quickly run up to 350. A break of that, we could potentially see a run up to. There is some room to run on this stock. There you go, 356, 357. I'm going to see if we can get back up to 356, and that's where I'll look to basically get out. There you go, 349. Let's take all that out. So it is having a pullback. I'll hold through that pullback because I feel like it does have potential. More people are going to jump in after this pullback because I jumped in pretty nice and early, which is nice. And basically, I would look to get out if it goes below my buy. If it comes back to 320s, I'll look to get out. So if it gets below this 5 moving average, into the 335s, I'll just look to sell. But I feel like it does have momentum. It's just starting to pick up. It's just starting to run, and we could potentially see it. There you go, 355 again. There you go. Now people are jumping in. We'll look to get out in the 360s if we can. Let's see if we can break 356 here. We want to see it break right away here. let's see if it can get over 350 again. I want to see it get over 350 again here. You know what? I'm just gonna look to get out here. Let's see if he'll take me out. There you go. Oh, it's running now. But 349. Oh, it's getting back up there. But I got out, I believe, at 347, right at 347. So that's good. You know, oh, it's going back up there. Could have waited, you know, a minute more, but I wanted these upper shadows here. Kind of scared me, and I was just kind of like, you know, these don't look as good. Just because, you know, if these shadows wouldn't have come, you know, if this candle would have closed into 350s and then run back, oh, now it's in the 360s. So definitely got out a little earlier in the 362. You know, could have made another 10 cents or so on this easily, but that's all right. We'll, you know, good play here, really good trade. I saw it started coming back up, you know, liked it on the daily. You know, nothing else is moving. So as soon as I saw this started coming back up, you know, popped up to 338, pulled back, and I got in right on the bottom of this candle, 326, or 325 was the bottom, but I got in at 326, pulls back, and now it's pulling back. So I mean, this is something we could definitely keep on watch now. So I'll just add it on my watch list. We could definitely keep it on watch, see what happens on this, and I'll be back in a minute, see if it has a nice pullback, and then we'll look to get in. Hey guys, I think I forgot to press record for my DRWI trade. Just had another trade. You know, it was the execution. I got in at 220, but 235 was, you know, the high, was the resistance. It just couldn't get past it. I did try selling at 235. It wouldn't work, so I ended up getting out on the bid. Now this is the 5-cent tick in one of the tick plots. You know, this stock only moves in 5-cent increments. So I tried getting it out in the 235s, couldn't. So then I ended up bailing out on the bid, which was 225. So, but my execution was 2.275, so got a little better execution than I was hoping for. You know, got my day up. You know, two green trades, one red trade. So the red trade, you know, the very first trade I had this morning, RLJE. And then the second one was NVLS, and then the third one is DRWI. Now NVLS, I was waiting for a 5-minute setup on this. I'll show you guys in a second, but let's just go over this DRWI trade. Now DRWI trade, you know, I was watching it from the pre-market list, but I just didn't have it on my watch list for the day. I just didn't think it would have the potential that, you know, I thought it will, especially with the 5-cent tick too. I was kind of staying away. Now you know, let me show you guys pre-market here. So the pre-market, you know, there was clear resistance at 180, and as you guys can see, you know, once the market opened and the break of 180, we pulled back a little, and then we just started moving. So you know, this was a good green to red move sort of play. You know, get in on the red to green move, and then look to basically sell on the spike, and that's exactly what happened. But I got in on this little U-shape pullback here. So it got up to 220, it pulls back, you know, makes this little U-shape, and then as soon as it break 220, that's when I jumped in. Gets up to 235, but it just couldn't run, and I couldn't get out there just because there was already a lot of sellers waiting to sell at that price level, and it just couldn't pass through it. So I ended up basically bailing out on the bid, 225, but got a little better execution at 2.27. So I'm okay with that, couple more cents, you know, got $15 on the position, minus $4 for the you know, the fees, so $11 profit there. You know, $38 profit on NVLS, and then $24 loss on RLJE. So overall I'm green on the day, which is great to see. And You know, the first trade RLJE wasn't probably the best trade, just because I anticipated the break of 280, and that's when I jumped in. And you know, I'm just glad I got out. I'm just glad, you know, I saw the weakness. I realized that, hey, it's not gonna break. I'll just get out now, and if it does break, I'll look to jump back in. You know, it just never broke. So I'm glad I, you know, only took a 10-cent loss there. And then you know, the NVLS was the next trade that came up on the scanner. You know, I saw it popping up, and I know nothing else was moving, so traders are gonna be looking to jump in. I saw the daily. There was, you know, it was clear on the daily. You know, it's a low float. You know, in shares it's only 15.66 million, but I think the float is about 10 or 11 million, if I'm not mistaken. I'll find out right now. Or 8.39 million, so even lower than I thought. So it's 8.39 million. So I just saw the shares, right? I know if it's below 20 million in shares, then the float is below 20 million, and that's what I like to see. And you know, on the daily, it's pretty clean too on the daily, right? The break of 3 here is what made this move happen. So I got in at 326 on this pullback here, you know, it started popping back up, and I got out in the 347. That's when I got out. I wanted to see it get back over 350, but these long shadows here on these candles, that's what kind of got me out of the position. If these candles would have closed near their high, especially this one, if this closed near its high, because this was a good pullback, but if this closed near its high and then it moved up, I would have held it, and I would have looked to sell on this push on the break of 360 here. Or but this candle was having trouble getting back over 350, so I ended up bailing out at 347. Not upset about that. I think it's a great trade. Same thing with DRWI. DRWI, you know, I saw it coming up, and you know, I was like, okay, I'll wait, see what happens. Saw this little U shape forming up, break of 220, jumped in, got up to 235, couldn't run, ended up bailing out. So 2 for 3 today. You know, that's better than what I have been in the past. Let's just say that. And you know what, these small positions, guys, have been so much better. Taking these small positions mentally for me are just so much better, because for me to like know that I'm down 10 cents on a 200 shares or 100 shares, it's completely fine with mentally, because I'm like, you know what, I'm willing to risk $20-30 on this trade to find out how it works. But you know, I'm taking advantage of the better trades here because I'm jumping in with smaller shares, so I'm willing to take a bit more risk with a clear head. You know, I'm willing to have a clear head when I'm jumping in, rather than with 500 shares, because mentally I'm not there. Mentally I'm not confident enough to be able to take 500 shares and be completely calm while the trade is happening. With 200 shares, I'm more calm. Like when I saw this 235 wasn't breaking, I wasn't panicking. I wasn't like, oh, what's gonna happen? I was just kind of like, calm, let's give it some time, let's see what happens. And then once I realized, you know what, 235 is not gonna break, I decided to bail out on the bid, and that's completely fine. So you know, that's it for today, guys. I've hit my 3 trades. Whether it's a winner or a loser, I have a rule: max 3 trades per day. That avoids me over trading. That is the biggest thing for me, is to overtrade. Just doing 3 trades a day, you know, keeps me you know, basically what's the word, anchored to my rules. And I think, although, you know, I have a win, you know, I'm green on the day, and I'm just gonna walk away with my 3 trades. And you know, even when I'm losing days, I think that's what I need to stick to, because in the past I've had some days where I, you know, had 3 trades and they were, you know, mostly losers, and I decided to do a 4th trade because I was just trying to make some money back. So now that I'm in green, you know, I have a clear head. I'm not upset, I'm not you know, angry, I'm not trying to look for revenge. But I think this is where I need to build my discipline to be like, you know what, if I hit 3 trades and I don't get, you know, if I whatever I end up with, whatever profit or loss, I just need to learn how to walk away from it. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Thank you for watching, guys. Got this new software for recording. You guys will probably notice my little trademark or watermark, I shall say. I guess it could be my trademark because I really like the logo at the bottom of the screen, so you guys know this is officially Gladiator Trader channel. This is officially GT, and GT don't play no fucking games. I just wanted to say that. I don't know why. Just, you know, I doubt anybody's even watching all the 19 minutes anyway. But if you guys are, just know that GT don't play no fucking games, right? Where, you know, I'm getting more comfortable, you know, with the smaller trade size, and I'm learning to realize, and I'm reading this book called Trading in the Zone, and it's by let me show you guys. It's by Mark Douglas. Great book for trading. Talks about basically the psychology of trading, what happens to a trader's brain, and you know what, a lot of things I was able to relate to, and that's what I'm working on now with smaller size. That's why I decided to go smaller size, because the key, guys, is you need to understand that the market is not against you. Market is not your enemy. What it is market just gives you the information, and you have to have a clear head to know what that information means. So for example, here the market was basically saying that, hey, it's consolidating, right? It could potentially break this 220. Now it was up to me to realize that, hey, this is consolidating, it's making this little U shape. If it breaks 220, it would be a good entry point, and I should look to jump in without any hesitation. And if it, let's say if it doesn't work and it instantly starts dropping, I would get out at, you know, 210. I would get out at 210. I would have a 10-cent stop loss, and you know what, that tells me that on that break of 220 there were just way too many sellers, and it wasn't a good entry point, and that's completely fine. That's not, markets are not against me. It's not like as soon as I jumped in it was just like, haha, got you, Yusuf, I'm gonna start dropping. But no, markets are not against me, and the reason I keep saying that is because I personally need to still get better at it. I personally need to still get better at it, and that's what I'm saying that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tell me if you guys, you know, do watch this video. If you guys are regular watchers and you guys like my videos, please leave a comment. Tell me how you guys like this new software. Let me show you guys little things here what I could potentially do with this software in the future. You know, I mean, I can talk about my entry point, so I can say, you know what, that's where I got in, right? I can draw on this. I can do a bit more things than I could in my previous software. So I really like this. You know, I had to pay some money for this. It wasn't expensive. I got a little discount. It was a one-time fee. It was like $30 Canadian, so you know, not bad. And I think it's a really good software. It helps me kind of, you know, get things going here. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.